everyone, good evening and welcome to Startup Central, the first and only daily show in India dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Avan Dubash. Well, we've got lots of stories lined up for today in a jam-packed show, but first up, under mounting pressure from the Indian government, it's WhatsApp that's finally appointed an India head. The messaging platform that was under fire over the spread of fake news has now appointed Abhijit Bose of EaseTap for the top job of the country. In fact, Bose, who will be joining the messaging platform early next year, will be building WhatsApp's first full country team outside California and will be based in Gurugram. The government has been pressing WhatsApp to develop tools to combat fake messages and also identify message originators. From WhatsApp to Facebook, and despite mounting pressures from investors as Facebook chairman, Mark Zuckerberg has said that he has no plans to step down. The social media giant has been under fire for several months now over the data and political rigging scandals, but he has made his stance fairly clear. And moving on, Japanese investment giant SoftBank has roped in Novest Adventure partners Sumer Juneja as the country head for India. Juneja will be taking on the role of SoftBank from his previous position as director at the US headquartered Venture Capital's India office, which he joined in 2009. As part of Novest Venture Partners, Juneja first led an investment in Swiggy in 2015 and serves on the food delivery firm's board as an observer. Interestingly, SoftBank had initiated talks with Swiggy for a possible investment in November last year. The Japanese fund had also held talks with Swiggy's rival Zomato starting in May 2018, but is yet to finalize the investment. Juneja has also actively been involved in NVP's investment in Quikr and the National Stock Exchange. He also served on the boards of Bharti Infra, IRB Infra, and worked with Goldman Sachs in London and Hong Kong as an investment banking analyst. Remember, SoftBank has so far invested about $8 billion in the Indian startup ecosystem and has been exploring the market for more bets. Well, moving on from SoftBank to Intuit, and that's launched its initiative for startups, and that's called Intuit Circles. They're offering Intuit QuickBooks, which is targeted at small businesses to manage accounting. My colleague Rahul Dayama caught up with the India head for more. Let's hear him out.
We have been in India for quite some time as an entity, as a product development center. And we really felt that we need to do something for the ecosystem to enable startups to thrive. So that's one part. And the other part, as you very well know, majority of startups that are created with tremendous enthusiasm, but end up failing in the first 3 to 4 years. Yeah. And the primary reason for that failure happens to be financial mismanagement. So the combination of those two things is something that ended up us realizing this whole concept of Intuit Circles. Intuit Circles is a program created for startups so that we can actually address this particular pain point, which is how do they enable the management of their financial health in such a manner so that they get focused on the core competency. That's the basic idea. And the other part, of course, is that these startups also want to be able to create products which can have a tremendous reach globally. So that's where we also come in. Our product has millions and millions of users globally, and we have a development API that's available.
That sort of lets you open up the platform and let startups talk to customers.
Exactly. So your imagination is your only limitation. You can create an application on top of this that can have a reach that's global. So the combination of those two things is something that truly will enable us to be powerful in our mission, which is to power prosperity around the world.
What really is so distinct about India and its customers? Is it a lot more difficult to sort of have SMEs pay for the service that they're doing, or are they more willing to now look at it owing to regulatory changes and GST coming by? Take us through what sets India apart.
So India is fundamentally it's a very different kind of a market, right? Having said that, this particular program is going to go worldwide eventually. So that the reason it's launching in India is because we're starting it in India for no other purpose. But India, as you know, is a do-it-for-me market. Most people, even at home, when they have to tighten a screw, they call a carpenter or something like that, right? So as far as being able to deal with their finances in the company, this is something that does not come naturally to people. But people feel they can actually do it, right? And that's where we come in. Right. So in India, the need for you to be connected to an expert in financial management and have the right tools is of supreme importance. So that then you can focus on the product you're creating. And again, the other part in India that's a big need is for these startups to have an opportunity to create products that can have a tremendous reach. Right? That's the other part we're looking at enabling through this Intuit Circles program. Right? That's an opportunity that's very tough to get. I have spoken to thousands of startups over the past 3-4 years. Right? And the one fundamental need that's common across the world for every startup is, how do I earn my first dollar? And what's the fundamental need behind that? It's just, where do I get my first customer?
Got it.
We help you get that.
All right, there you have it. That's the word coming in from Intuit. But on that note, let's take a quick break right here on the show. Come right back. We got lots more lined up on Startup Central. Welcome back to Startup Central. Let's get you some more news. And Google has confirmed that its Neighbourly app is expanding in India. In a blog post, the company announced that Neighbourly is available for Delhi and Bengaluru, with plans for expansion to more cities on a weekly basis. The app, which is exclusive to India, was launched in May this year, and the pilot started in Mumbai city. Through the Neighbourly app, users can connect to other users who reside in the same locality. The app even allows one to share queries about area-specific questions, or even answer doubts as to who are new in the area and have questions. While users can choose to select the neighborhood that is closest to them, Neighbourly as an app also allows one to add the residential location and office location with updates for both. Within this app, users will find questions tailor-made to their interests and suggestions to form questions that will receive quick and easy answers. That's the latest on the Quikr app. On the Neighbourly app from Google. But let's move right on, and online classified player Quikr has filed its financials a while back. The startup, which is part of the coveted Unicorn Club, saw revenues nearly double while losses reduced to 233 crores. Let's take it over to Rahul Dayama to take this discussion forward. Rahul, to you.
Avan, thank you so much. Let's sort of look at the numbers that have come by, a bit of a data crunching. Quikr has just filed its financials a while back at the ROC. So a quick look at the financials indicate that the revenues have almost doubled. Really, we have seen the revenues sort of come by at 173 crore from what it was at 88 crore last year. So revenue has doubled, 95%. Losses is something that all analysts sort of track owing to startups. The burn rate is also down from what was 324 crore. It's down to 233 crore right now. Remember, Quikr operates in an interesting place. It's an online classifieds company. They have different verticals: job, cars, two-wheeler, and they'd also sort of acquired the Common Floor platform and bet big on the real estate platform. And to take this conversation forward, we have the founder and CEO of Quikr, Pranay Juliet, joining us on the show to really take this conversation forward. Pranay, hi. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us on ET Now. A quick take on the numbers. On the face of it, seems like the revenues have doubled. You've also trimmed losses. I'll come to the losses part in a while, but which verticals have sort of helped you, sort of post these revenues, and how sustainable is this going forward?
I think this trajectory has been long in the making, and if I talk about the growth in terms of specific verticals, the most exciting thing for us is it's a fairly broad-based growth. So every single one of our verticals has grown anywhere between 80% to 110, 115%. So we are not a one-trick pony, and I think this year's performance further kind of reinforces that fact.
All right. I'll on the vertical part, I'll sort of come to in a while in terms of trends that are standing by. But Pranay, losses really, everyone talks about how, the cost of customer acquisition will take some more time, investments in new areas. So at Quikr, really, what's the trend that you're seeing over the last few years? We've sort of seen you trim down losses. Now you're at 233 crore. So what efforts are you really taking to control losses, and what's paying off at that level?
See, it really comes down to two things. One is the uniqueness of our business model, where we spent several years building a fairly large classifieds platform that allows people to buy, sell, rent, find a variety of things very freely with each other without Quikr being in the middle of the transaction. Now, what we are doing is taking the transaction flow in that open architecture platform and monetizing just a small portion of that by offering transaction services. So just to take an example, in the case of shared rentals or shared accommodations, we've always for a long time had a PG category, paying guest category on our platform, where a lot of people list their flats, a lot of people go and rent them. What we have done is now is offered a more managed service around that and scaled a business from 600 tenants to 60,000 tenants as of today within literally over 1 year. So I think this is just a uniqueness of business model. That's one part of it. And there we don't have to spend too much money to acquire customers because we already have those customers in our classifieds platform. And the second is, I think, good old strong execution. So it's a combination of good strategy as well as strong disciplined execution.
All right. But one would say that being in the classified business itself is quite a complex business, so to say. So, in terms of revenues also, are we seeing high margins really come by? Are there particular verticals like, say, for example, real estate or jobs that is driving it, or is this a well-rounded one?
Three of our verticals are already cash flow positive, and these are real estate, jobs, and auto, which means cars and bikes, unlike most other players in the industry. And the other two are still in the investment mode, which is used goods and services, but I think it's just a matter of time. So I would say, again, even in terms of economics, either our verticals are already profitable or getting there. And just one more thing I would add is, in general, especially in our industry, it's a bit fashionable to make more losses, and growth always means more losses. But I think I would like to see us as a bit of a shining exception in that area, where we are actually growing fast and yet growing profitably. And I think as time goes by, hopefully more and more such strong franchises will emerge in the industry.
Okay. Pranay, last couple of questions. Could you talk to us, share some insights and trends as to how Indians behave on the Quikr platform, across verticals, be it real estate, jobs, auto, or even beauty services that they look for? How much time do they spend on the app? What are they increasingly looking for? Give us some trends, really.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to note is that, what has happened, there are categories like buying of new products, right, where consumers already had started buying stuff online in e-commerce platforms. But what has happened is, in many other categories where actually consumers spend more money, real estate or cars or motorcycles or looking for jobs and so on, where companies spend more money, these high ticket value items, consumers increasingly have started doing more and more research online, although the transaction might be finished offline later. So what we have built is essentially a platform where it works online to offline. It takes consumers who are looking for stuff online, and instead of letting them just complete the transaction completely independent of us, now we are offering them transaction services. So I think the biggest trend that we will see is more and more deepening of services provided by companies like Quikr, where I think the models that will be successful are models that provide a more complete solution, as opposed to just staying at the surface and trying to monetize the business through advertising, etc.
Okay. Also, Pranay, Quikr has been a very acquisitive company. You have acquired a number of companies, common floor in the real estate platform, really. So, something that we asked you the last time also, how easy or tough is it to really integrate all of these acquisitions and ensure that all of them are sort of meeting, the required goal, are on the same path, at least as a vision, and sort of delivering the value that you would expect them to do?
Like all good things in life, it's not easy. I think, fast growing companies have a lot of questions in front of them and you have to answer them kind of as you go. But I think in our case, what I can comfortably tell you is that if we were to do it all over again, we would do it all over again, because I think this is, it's worked very well for us. If you see our revenue today, a big part of it has come from Quikr's own growth, the way Quikr was. But another big part of it has come by not just acquiring these companies, but more importantly, growing the revenue of the acquired companies. So we acquired good models and then we've multiplied them with our supply and demand to grow them materially. So I think it's worked well for us. Each such transaction may have different nuances to it, so you manage it differently. And I think we've definitely also come a long way in terms of our understanding of that dynamic. But I think it's been a very fruitful strategy for us.
All right. Pranay, in terms of, what will drive the growth for Quikr going ahead, because you've very confidently said that you will also double revenues, as you move into next year. Yeah, the first 2 quarters have panned out well. What is giving you this optimism? Are you adding a lot more? Also talk to us about first-time users, the impact of Jio and the entire internet boom. Has that sort of helped to add a lot more users to the platform, and the optimism really behind what will drive the growth going ahead?
I think, so some of it is driven by the core growth in the market or even consumers' willingness to use digital platforms more. But I think a lot of it actually, frankly, is, that confidence and comfort comes from the fact that, while Quikr is now, it's grown into, material revenues and it's still growing fast. And these, numbers look good to us and, that's why we are talking. But I really believe that we are still not even scratching the surface of the transaction flow inherent in the original classifieds Quikr platform. So, even if we were to assume, even if we were to discount all other factors of growth like new users in the industry and evolving consumer behavior, if you were to just look at our platform the way it stands today and we were to see how many of these consumers are we offering transactions to, it's tiny. So the numbers are big, but the percentage of our own users that we've captured are very, very, very small. So I think we have a long way to go, and I can see us growing at this fast pace for several years, not just next year.
Got it. Pranay, last question before I let you go. I have to ask you this. In terms of the developments at Flipkart, which was once considered the most valued startup, a lot of entrepreneurs sort of looked up to the company and its journey. Are you disappointed with what's happened? We have seen both the co-founders exit the company under the circumstances that they have. So as an entrepreneur, are you disappointed sort of seeing the developments at what is panned out?
I'm not very close to the situation, so I can't comment very specifically. All I can say is that, overall, Flipkart has been a great success story, not just for the people who worked in the company, but for the industry also. I think it is a strong franchise. It is likely to continue to grow well. In any phase of growth of such companies, all companies really, there could always be some fortunate or not so fortunate developments, but I think the business itself is strong and should continue to grow. I think that's how I would look at it.
All right, Pranay. Thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us on ET Now Startup Central. Look forward to chatting up with you again. With that, Avan, it's back to you in the studios to take the show forward.
All right, thanks very much for that, Rahul. Some key takeaways there from the Quikr CEO to ET Now, talking about a big part of the revenue from acquired companies, and they have a long way to go before they see themselves growing robustly. Well, let's move right on then. And we all know that our mobile phones are practically like our 11th finger. We're addicted online, and YouTube is a site that we do visit fairly often. But the question is, who rules YouTube? Is it, Taylor Swift, who has close to 12 to 15 billion viewers, or Ed Sheeran, or is it Justin Bieber with 18 billion views? Well, absolutely not. Staying far ahead of the game is T-Series videos, which has been seen about 53 billion times. In fact, that would make T-Series one of the most watched YouTube channels in the world, or the most watched YouTube channel across the world. So let's put the numbers into perspective. The channel currently has over 100,000 subscribers per day. That's what they gain. Currently, they have close to 70 million subscribers, and each of their videos average about 6.5 million views each. Even when they're popular videos, that goes even more. Guri Randhawa's Lahore, for example, 615 million views. It's on course to become the most subscribed channel on YouTube and is about to pass the controversial personality PewDiePie. In fact, less than half of the traffic that comes from India, 12% from the United States. What's keeping YouTube's game so strong? Well, rapidly growing Indian online viewer base. There's increasing international interest as well for Bollywood. Internet access has grown with YouTube, with Rel Jio. Offerings at minuscule costs. The affordability of smartphones has brought the internet to all. And they've also signed licensing deals, T-Series, with Amazon for their film releases. And analysts believe that this is just the beginning of the Indian content boom. Alright, so there you have it, T-Series at the top there. But with that, we're out of time right here on the show. Thank you so much for watching.